Before we get into some of the exercises that require us to have a chain set up, it's important to understand how to set that chain up in order to get the correct adaptation from the 10 to 25% rule, depending on what we're using. The way we set chain up is as follows. We take a link chain, which is a lighter chain, normally 2 meters in length. That chain is normally connected by some type of climbing or collar link. From here, the chain goes around the bar like so, and what we do is we feed the bigger chain through the middle of this chain. So in this case we do a 7.5 kilo chain. The 7.5 kilo chain is 1.5 meters in length. We feed that through the smaller link chain, allowing us to utilize the full weight of the heavy chain, which is the 7.5 kilo chain. This is our squat setup. When it comes to exercises like bench press and deadlift, the link chain, this chain here, will have to be shortened. The easiest way to do that is to mark back 10 smaller links on this chain here, so it can be quickly adjusted. For bench pressing, I normally find, depending on the athlete in question, when we mark back 10 links, it's ideal for a bench press. And again, when we're deadlifting, especially from the floor, the setup again is going to have to be much, much smaller. What we don't want when we're using chain, which you see in a lot of commercial gyms, is this type of setup here, where the chain is attached to the barbell from the actual bar itself. There's no way we can utilize the full weight of the chain. And in order to get the correct adaptation, we need to utilize the full weight of that chain. Next, we're going to go through a band setup. This is our 41-inch band. We normally use this for our squatting, for some of our speed strength type exercises. And what happens is we attach this band, or we choke this band to dumbbells on the floor. If you were in a facility that had some cages with some pins on the bottom, you could use the pins. But dumbbells, choking the band around dumbbells works the exact same way. So this is our red band, our 41-inch band, and it gets attached as follows. Feed it through the bottom of the dumbbells. Once it's through the bottom of the dumbbells, choke it through itself, up around the bar like so. When we're squatting, we want to make sure that the dumbbells are set up exactly in line with where the athlete is going to squat. It's important that we don't get pulled backwards or forwards. Make sure both the set of dumbbells, either side of the bar, are in line. Once we have everything set up and ready to go, we can adjust the tension by this band here. If we want more tension, we can bring this band higher, like so. If we want less tension, we can bring this band lower. So we can adjust the tension to make sure it's even both sides. When it comes to bench pressing with chains, the setup is slightly different to our squat. When it comes to our link chain, we need to shorten the link chain because the range of movement is not as great. So what I normally find works for the majority of people is if you shorten your link chain by 10 links, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. On the 10th link, we clip it up. From here, just like the squat, this goes around the barbell collar. And this time, because it's a bench press, we're going to double our chain over. So we're going to put our chain through when it's doubled. Because that range of movement is not as much as a squat, the double of the chain will allow the chain deload onto the floor and reload off the floor again. So it is slightly different from the squat, so it's important that we pay attention to this setup when we're bench pressing with chains. The next setup we're going to go through is a setup we use for the bench press and the deadlift. We do this with our mini band. This is our 12-inch band that we use. The reason we use a 12-inch band is because it saves us having to double and triple a 41-inch band when it comes to exercises that require a shorter range of movement. So, the band setup for this is as follows. Again, we anchor it this time to a single dumbbell on the floor. From there, we make sure it's on the inside of the dumbbell. It comes up, links around the barbell like so. We always make sure with our bands, whether we're using the 41 inch or the 12 inch, that they're always on the inside of the collar, never on the chassis of the bar because they rub and they get worn out. So we also put it on the inside, and then the plates make sure that that band stays locked in place. From there again, we want to make sure that this dumbbell is in line with where the athlete will be bench pressing, so he's not pulled forwards or backwards. And again, this is used mainly for our speed work on our speed strength days. When we're setting up for a deadlift with chains, we need to shorten the link chain even more so than the bench press again, because that range of movement, either from the rack or the floor, again may be smaller. So, we shorten the link chain to like so, about 20 links from the actual hook itself. Once that's in place here, we want to get our chain, feed it through like so. Make sure that chain is underneath the bar, the path of the bar. We also need to make sure that the chain when we're deadlifting doesn't get caught on the blocks at the bottom of the cage or the rack, whatever we may be lifting for. Remember, when lifting with chains, everything is good in a linear manner. Anything outside a linear line will cause us problems, so it's important to pay attention to that. We're going to look at the last of our band setups, and this time it's going to be for our reverse bench. So our reverse bench, instead of it being anchored to the floor, it's now anchored to a rig or a rack from above us. This again, we choke the band from the rig. So we just simply put the band through and we choke it through in itself. Make sure it's nice and tight. Like so. And there we have the reverse bench setup. Really, really important, no matter whether you're using bands for squatting, bands for reverse bench, bands for bench press, bands for deadlift. It's really, really important that you have band tension throughout the whole movement. What we don't want at any part of the movement, whether it be the top or the bottom, is the band to go slack like this. That's not accommodating resistance. In accommodating resistance, band tension must be there throughout the whole movement itself.